Welcome, happy hump day, my friends, and welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. And on today's episode of the crossover, we're going to be talking about the Cream City Shocker that was laid down yesterday as the Milwaukee Bucks fired Adrian Griffin after 43 games as their head coach. We're going to talk about it. And then it's been a hot minute since we've done some news here at Prime Sports World. So we're going to give 1 minute break, one word breakdowns on a bunch of news stories that have happened over the last month or so in the NBA and give our reaction to stuff going on. But we got some big fish to fry when it comes to the main story here at Prime Sports World. I'm David Huppin. Right there is Israel Rivera. TJ Hopkins should be jumping on this show here momentarily. So please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. Izzy, happy hump day, my friend. How goes it?
Happy hump day. It goes swell, my friend. And ready to break down this breaking news, this amazing, this shocker of news coming out of Milwaukee, just north of us here in Chicago.
Well, northwest of me here in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Northwest of you.
Let's just jump right into it. The Cream City, that's a shocker. Adrian Griffin fired in Milwaukee. He was his first head coaching, NBA coaching job. I missed the word first there. I'll fix that. They were 30-12 with the Milwaukee Bucks, who are playing as we're recording this show. They had the third best record in the entire NBA. 10th in Pius point differential. You could see their spread right there. They actually are the highest scoring team in the NBA so far this year. Had our 24.6 points per game, which is up 8 from where they were last year. So let's talk about why this happened. Obviously on the screen there, we got the starting lineup for the Milwaukee Bucks. You know their faces, you know the players. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So this is, where do I start, man? Obviously, this wasn't about. Well, it was a little bit about X's and O's. I would say a little bit about X's and O's. You can't tell because of the record. Obviously, they're second in the East, third best record in the NBA. But I think when it comes down to Giannis and Damian Lillard, who are your two superstar cornerstone franchise. Well, Giannis is your cornerstone guy. You drafted him and he turned into a franchise player, and you traded for Dame Lillard. I think that's where the mistake starts to happen. I'll get to that. On the offseason, Terry Stotts was an assistant coach, right? He was the top assistant coach. For a rookie head coach to have a veteran head coach, if everybody doesn't know who Terry Stotts is, he was, Damian Lillard's old head coach from the Portland Trailblazers, who led him to all those Portland playoff.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't give him this job. But anyways.
Well, yeah. And so Terry Stotts was let go because he pulled Giannis and Dame Lillard off to the sides after practice or something one time. And Adrian Griffin kind of saw that as showing him up a little bit. And he chastised, this is according to the stories, is that he chastised Terry Stotts in front of everybody. And Terry just wasn't having it. He felt disrespected, and he unceremoniously left the Milwaukee Bucks staff. I think that's kind of where everything started. Adrian Big Griff, as I like to call him, because he played for the Chicago Bulls. Shout out to Johnny Ray Kerr, who used to call him that.
Also, welcome in TJ Hopkins into the show, but you continue your point.
Yeah. So and so Big Griff was a guy that, he's a rookie head coach, but I think he's a guy that, this whole situation was somewhat flawed, right? When you look at offensively, yes, you trade in defensive firepower for offensive firepower, right? You get Damian Lillard, who's not known as a defensive player. You trade away Drew Holiday, who's pretty much your glue, the guy that kind of put it all together, right? In terms of defense.
You'll make the argument that he's the best on-ball defender in the NBA.
In the NBA. And then also, letting Grayson Allen leave, who's a pesky defender coming off the bench. And when you look at the guys that are replaced in the starting lineup, I mean, you have Pat Connaughton there, but Malik Beasley gets the run in the starting lineup. And so Malik Beasley is nowhere near a defender as those two guys are. You can make the argument that Pat Connaughton and Giannis Antetokounmpo are probably out. Brook Lopez obviously because he's the block shots, but Brook Lopez is slow-footed. He can't guard the guys that, like an Alperun Şengün. He can't guard a guy like a Jokic. He can't guard an Embiid. He's, when you're pulling them out away from the basket and having them guard some of those stretch fours, it's very difficult for him. So defensively, they took a hit. They're in the bottom half of the NBA in defense. They're in the top 3 in offense, and rightfully so, because when you add a Damian Lillard, you're going to add offense.
They're in the bottom 8 when it comes to points per game allowed to their opponent. They're number 1 scoring team in the NBA.
They're freaking terrible defensively this year. And then Chris Middleton has been banged up, coming off an injury. Chris Middleton hasn't been 100% so far, but he's, looking at him, he's almost a shell of himself this year. Chris Middleton is not the defender like he used to be in years previous. He's not even an offensive player he used to be in previous years.
And they just paid him a whole bunch of money. So
yeah, and so when you look at their bigs, their slow bigs, Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez. When you look at all the other their guards, they don't defend well at all. So defensively, they're going to be bad. And with all that being said, this team was still the second best team in the East. And I think when you see in the game where Giannis in the crunch time situation, I believe turned the ball over one time and Griff brought him over to the bench and kind of chewed him out a little bit, right? Griff was holding guys accountable on that team, and certain guys didn't like that. They want a guy like, I don't know what, I don't know what Doc's going to be, but they want a yes guy. They want a guy that's going to be like, oh, kind of put it on cruise control and let everybody kind of roam and do their thing. Griff wasn't that guy. Griff was a guy that he's a rookie head coach. He was implementing his system, implementing his culture, and he was holding guys accountable. And when they're not playing defense is a heart thing. It's just like what you say in football. When I was an offensive lineman, you want to, like, when you couldn't block, you want to have to block with your heart, right? You got to play defense with your heart. And it's like this Milwaukee Bucks defense doesn't have any heart to play defense. And when you see that and you notice that they lose how many times to the Pistons, they don't, win the in-season tournament. They, struggle, against, certain top teams. But with that being said, this team just won 5 out of the last 6. Like, this is
I think
to the point.
I think when you look at their matchups against like the top tier of the NBA, they've lost a lot of those matchups.
Yeah,
like they've lost to the Boston Celtics. I mean, whatever you think of Indiana, they've lost that matchup. They've lost to those other teams in the West.
They got swept by the Pacers.
Outside of that game in Milwaukee where they beat the Celtics by like 40 points, but I think that's kind of an outlier.
But it goes to the defensive side of the ball, right, TJ? Like, this team don't play defense like they used to be, like they used to do. Like, this team, they you get a guy like Dame Lillard, yeah, he scores points. Yeah, he's awesome, but he don't play a lick of defense.
I mean, but their defense has been slipping for the last, like, this isn't a new revelation here. Like, their defense was middle of the pack last season after being in the top 5 the season before that. So this isn't something like all of a sudden. Actually, they weren't even they were middle of the pack. They've been the last 3 years. They've been just an okay defensive team. Like,
they're getting old.
Well, yeah, that's what it is. The notion of certain guys, certain coaches demand a certain level of respect, to me is asinine, because you had a rookie head coach in Adrian Griffin, and if you didn't if the best player on that team don't respect him or at least listens to his input, then you're off to a rocky start to begin with. Like, folks forget the whole Terry Stotts saga, right? Because it happened so early. Like, he gets named the new head coach, then you trade for Dame, and then what's the question? Oh, how are Dame and Stotts going to interact now in the new environment? So on and so forth. And it didn't last long. Like, Terry Stotts, like, they trade for Dame, Terry Stotts, I'm out. I don't want it no more. I'm resigning.
And Terry Stotts was supposed to be their like a basic offensive coordinator, pretty much, of the team.
And this note, like, so I'm listening to the big media guys, and they're like, "Oh, Doc Rivers," like, "Oh, they'll listen to Doc Rivers." So you saying they weren't listening to Adrian Griffin? Like, Adrian Griffin is a rookie in head coaching only. Like, dude's been an assistant for
a long time,
15 years.
Well, so I think one of the things here, like, the Bucks are married to this roster. There isn't a lot of flexibility with the roster. The only thing they can really change is the head coach, and so they're taking a home run swing at this. That shaking up the head coach is going to shake up this roster. That's the reason this happened, because they have no flexibility whatsoever to change this roster, and they're kind of stuck with the players on it. Like, all of the guys that their main pieces are under contract for a hot minute, and they're not contracts you can just easily just move. Like, they don't have trade assets after the various trades that they've made. Like, the only change on this roster that they could logistically make, and hopefully that changes their ceiling, is the coach, and that's why
that's a cop out. And that's a cop out, because I harken back to the stuff Giannis said when they lost to Miami. He's all like, he was asked, was this past season a failure? And he said, no, goddamn it, yes it is. Because you're at a standpoint, like, you're in a position now that what you do in the regular season does not matter. You are judged by postseason success only. And if you as long as you're in a title picture, every year you don't win a title, guess what that season was, Giannis? a failure.
Like
that's
another thing.
Go ahead.
Yeah, another thing is that this move to Doc Rivers actually puts more pressure on them, right?
100%.
Because with Doc Rivers, it's championship or bust.
I mean, it was that anyway. Anyways,
it was that anyway.
It was that anyways, but it's even more now because this is a veteran head coach.
Let's move on from why this happened, and let's move on to the second point. What kind of message does this send to the league, to coaches who think they want to get their start somewhere? Like, what kind of message does this kind of firing send?
Not a good one. I mean, like, it's like y'all treated this dude like he was 13 and 30 instead of the other way around. Like, Izzy said all he said in his monologue, and the big picture is y'all ain't no bottom feeder. Y'all are 30 and 13. Y'all are second in the East. Like y'all fired this dude like he was doing a bad job. Like defensively, Adrian Griffin can't play for you. Izzy said his quote, I say the quote all the time, hey, at the end of the day, somebody got to give a damn. Somebody got to take pride on that defensive end. Like, yeah, you can score with the best of them. You can score 130 points a game. Cool. But you're giving up 117. You winning your games, but it's like, we got to actually, put some effort into, like, putting teams away. Where it used to be like, hey, we finna lock these mugs up, and we finna be uncontrollable on the other end, and ain't nothing they can do about it.
Look at tonight. They've already given up 56 points at half to the Cleveland Cavaliers without Darius Garland, without certain guys, with Donovan Mitchell just not even 100%. You know what I mean? Like, and they're on pace tonight. The Cleveland Cavaliers are on pace tonight to score 117 points.
I'm agreeing with you.
I would hate to think that just one move is the reason why defensively they're falling apart. Like, I understand Drew Holiday was crucial to this team, but you got rid of him, and all of a sudden, like he's the reason why. Excuse me. He's the reason why.
I mean, they're only giving up 7 more points per game on a regular. I mean, their increase in offense is actually higher than their decrease on defense, which is what you were shooting for. That's what you were shooting for when you.
But shit, seven points on defense, losing 7 points on defense is big, man. That's
But you losing 7 points.
That's not a small feat.
But you're losing 7 points on defense, but you're getting what? 8 to 10 on offense. So it's like at the end of the day, today was fun. You knew what you were signing up for. Like the fact that they're like, hey, I don't know what the problem is defensively. Like you knew what you were signing up for when you traded for Dame. You knew what it was.
I think the kind of message this sends. I know we want to move on, but you know what? This has kind of happened for. Every superstar player has kind of done this in a franchise player. Not every franchise player, but some franchise players. Like Magic Johnson got Paul Westphal fired after they started, after Paul Westphal won a championship for them.
That one Paul Westphal. That one Paul's team.
I know it wasn't Paul's team exactly. And Paul Westphal was like this very passive guy, and the record was pretty damn good. And Magic got him out of there, right? LeBron got David Black.
Paul Westphal changed everything. They went from Showtime to, all right, we're going to walk up and down the court. We're going to feed Kareem in the paint. And so, he killed Showtime. Basically, that's what got him fired.
David Blatt they were the number 1 seed in the Eastern
Blatt was like the number 1 seed, and they got rid of young guys. I forgot who the coach was before Paul Westphal. He was the old Portland head coach. If you ever watched Showtime, like he got that injury where it was ended his career pretty much.
Rudy Tom Donovan?
No,
it wasn't Rudy Tom Donovan. TJ, help me out here.
It's he fell off a bike. That's what.
Yeah, he fell off a bike, but he was the reason why they started playing fast, and he had Riles come from the booth and be the assistant head coach, and all Riles did was keep that. Jack McKinnon. Jack McKinnon had the Lakers playing fast, And Paul Westphal changed it up when he became the head coach. And then Pat Riley got the job, and Pat Riley kept the same shit that Jack McKinnon was doing. And then, like you said, David Blatt, number 1 seed. And then
they won a title on that.
Went to a finals too. Went to a finals and was number 1 seed next year. And then,
you know what I mean? And then we can make the argument.
I mean,
Coach
Trey Young got both of his coaches fired mid-season.
And you can make the argument that Giannis, this is the second coach he got fired too, because Coach Bud got fired too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Coach Bud was very successful. You know, come on now. How many coaches come off of a championship ring? What? Not even a year or two prior. It's not like it's hard. It's not like y'all are. It's not like you got Shaq and Kobe on your team.
I mean,
you ain't winning a three-peat. You ain't got LeBron.
He had rumors that he might get fired even if they didn't win that title. Let's talk about Doc Rivers for a second. He obviously takes this job. He's going to be the head coach of the rest of the way. I don't know if he's coaching tonight or not. But he takes this job. Is Doc Rivers a better fit than Adrian Griffin on this team? Yes or no?
Oh,
better
man.
He better be.
Yeah.
He better be. He
that's
better
what
be.
It is. That's what it is right there. Like, hey, he better be. Like,
I think that this is a better. I think he is for what the team wants to accomplish and where they are in their season. Doc Rivers is a better fit for this particular season. If we're talking about a season or two from here, I think Adrian Griffin would have been the better option. But Doc Rivers is a better option for this particular season because he's been there, done that. There will be very little like growing pains with the Doc Rivers. But I've
said been there, done that, David.
No,
I've said this for a long time, though. I don't think Doc Rivers is that good a coach. Like he's had super teams, loaded rosters in LA, and does everything else in Boston and Philly. Not able to get it done
in Boston.
Yeah, like
he got 4 Hall of Famers in Boston.
But
you got 4 Hall of Famers in Boston. You won 1 ring.
But he is a better fit for this particular team this season.
I can't like better fit. The only thing that's changing is the voice. The only thing that's changing is the voice. Adrian Griffin, and that's why they made the move so fast, right? They fired Adrian Griffin. 2 hours. Hey, Doc Rivers, the next. He's the lead candidate.
And ESPN is probably thinking they're lucky stars they get to get him out of the booth because he was not a good broadcaster.
Well,
that's IMO, in my opinion.
I'm pretty sure he did. I'm pretty sure he was waiting for the good. He was waiting for the best opportunity to come.
Adrian Griffin was calling Doc Rivers for like support and advice and whatnot. So the sets and stuff that they was running, guess who Adrian Griffin was getting that stuff from? Doc. That's why the move. That's why the move happened so fast.
So like that's why it seems like a backdoor ass move, but okay.
It seems like a real shitty move, like for real. Like Doc
it's just like we know that he was reaching out to Doc. Like he was like they brought him in the in-season tournament, right, TJ, to be a special advisor or something like that for the Milwaukee Bucks.
Which I don't know if that's allowed because of like the whole like conflict of interest thing. Like he working for ESPN, this guy's a coach. It ain't no secret that Doc wants to like still coach and all that other good stuff. So it's like,
in my opinion, Doc Rivers stole the job from Adrian Griffin. Like he just went under his nose and basically he was like, "Yeah, I'm taking your job."
He's from Chicago. He's from Chicago. He's a Marquette legend. His jersey's in the damn Raptors up there in Milwaukee.
You think he sabotaged Adrian Griffin?
I wouldn't. No, I don't think he's sabotaged. I'm not saying that, but I think that there was for sure. He was like, "Hey, like." Milwaukee, like I'll take this job if you fire this guy. I think that conversation was had.
That's sabotage, David. That's sabotage, David.
That's 100% sabotage.
Yeah, but I don't think he was giving Adrian Griffin bad advice.
Oh
no! I doubt he'll do that to
like, no, it's what Izzy said. Like, is he a better fit? Then he better be.
He better be.
What's gonna be the notion? What's gonna be the notion? If they come up short again, what's going to be the narrative? If they come up short again,
I mean, I don't.
And Giannis doesn't seem like the prima donna type or nothing like that.
That's quickly changing. That is quickly changing,
and it's starting to change a little bit. His narrative,
like small market, it's like small market Milwaukee. Big superstar Giannis, like, hey, this is 2 coaches that you've gotten like fair or unfair, right? Trae Young is going through the same thing. Fair or unfair, Trae Young has been labeled a coach killer. Fair or unfair, that tag is going to Giannis. You got fired, like you fired a championship winning head coach, then you fired his successor. So if you come up short again, guess who the ire is going to go on? It ain't gonna go on the Doc, because Doc can hit like a little of it is, but majority of it, guess what, Giannis? Hey, this is your guy. You handpicked his guy. Fair or unfair, true or untrue. We already know you ain't the GM. We get that. But we ain't finna sit here and act like you're not included on decision makers for this team either. Like you, like
Absolutely.
hey, like we saw your brother. Your brother trashed. The only reason your brother has an NBA roster spot is because of you.
Man, hey,
So
you ain't got a jump shot and your brother's trash.
Let's talk about the last point here before we move on to one word segment. Let's talk about, does this move change anything for Milwaukee? Like, does it improve their chances of winning a title?
No, it does not.
It's all the same.
They're gonna be the same team.
It was championship before. It was championship before the season. It was championship when the season started. It's championship now. Yes, again, we ain't talking like this team is 30-13. We ain't acting like they 25-20, or like whatever that math is, 43 games. Like we acting like they 22-23 or some shit like that. They are second in the East. This ain't no play-in team. This ain't like they're in the thick of things. Like they still like ain't shit changed. Not a damn thing.
Oh wait, actually, sorry. So NBA conversation. Let's do this. So one word. So we haven't done like a really quote unquote news show here at the Prime, at least on the crossover here in a couple, at least a month. So we wanted to touch on a couple of stories that we haven't really had a chance to like talk about here at the Prime, and we're just going to give our one word analysis on all of these different stories, going back basically about a month and a half or so. Let's first start with the one that I'm sure TV really wants to talk about. Let's talk about Draymond Green. I know you mentioned in the group chat that you wanted to talk about back in January. He was reinstated after his 12-game suspension. I do not know if he's played. I don't really shape up to the Golden State Warriors all that much, but he's been reinstated in the league. He's allowed to go back play for the practice. Your one-word reaction to Draymond Green receiving only a 12-game suspension after the hit to Jusuf Nurkic?
Soft.
Well, shit, we did a show on that one.
No,
I
we
think
didn't.
TJ was very adamant.
Soft.
How he felt about Draymond.
Soft. Like it's to the Warriors. It's soft. My one word for them is it's soft. 12, like he's been suspended 12 games, and that's just suspended. Not.
So he's only played one game since he was reinstated on the 15th of. So
and he hasn't. You know what? The real thing is he isn't even invited to the Olympics pool. Grant Hill left him off because of all of this, kind of madness. So
Izzy, what's your one word for this?
I would say definitely it's soft. I mean, I would say feathery soft. I don't know. I don't agree with that suspension. I feel like he should have been suspended indefinitely. I mean, I know John.
I think it should have been 20-25 games. It's weak.
Oh, absolutely.
It's pretty weak. You throw basically a punch at a player. I mean, we saw the entire the entire Pacers. I know that Malice in the Palace wasn't quite this, but it could have easily escalated into something like that. If you throw a absolute haymaker at Jusuf Nurkic, it could have absolutely turned south. It's weak. Super weak.
And he choked out. We gotta forget he choked out Rudy Gobert. You know what I mean? Just like going back all the way to the Jordan Poole shit. Yeah, stomping on guys, man. Like, come on, man.
To the next one. Unfortunately, John Morant is injured for the rest of the season. We have not had a chance to talk about this injury either. Memphis is already having a kind of a really not terrible season. They're probably not going to make the playoffs. Injured the right shoulder during a training session. Is going to miss the entire rest of the season. Memphis did get basically a cap exception for his contract, but I don't think they're going to sign anyone or go anywhere this season. But John Morant, season over. Reaction?
You said it.
I would say sad. Yeah, and unfortunate. That's a nice one. just because of how well they played. When he came back, they were in a groove. They were playing much better, obviously, with Ja Morant back. And it's just sad, and what TJ said, unfortunate, that they had to lose him, after he worked himself way, hard to come back onto the court, took the suspension, and then he gets injured. Definitely sad for him. Get better, son.
To the next one, I think TJ also liked this one as well. Mike Brown fined $50,000 for him criticizing the officiating. It's something that I've never seen before in the NBA or any sport for that matter. The dude picks out a laptop and just shows the play that he was like, "This is a questionable call. This is a questionable call." And public, it was something I've never seen before. It was crazy. Like.
My one word, bullshit. You gonna find him $50K for calling out your bad officials? Like, no, tell your officials to be better. Like, you can't say one is a foul and then say the other one isn't. And then he had it all, bro. He had the laptop, he had the rule, and he had the explanation given to him. And like, bro, like he's just like, yo, that makes no sense. Bullshit.
Officiating this season is at an all-time low of inconsistencies. Like, or all-time high of inconsistencies, but it's just an all-time low in terms of performance. These officials on a night-to-night basis in every game are just horrible. Say that you're talking about they'll even go to the video board, TJ. We saw it in the Suns-Bulls game. They'll even go to the video board and deem that wasn't a foul, when clearly it was a foul. Like what?
Like the NFL and the NBA, it's almost like, hey, we cannot, we gotta back our guys here, man. Like we can't call them out if they're wrong. Like, hey, man, whatever they call, we gotta stand by them, man. Like, no, you don't. If they're wrong.
For me, it was hilarious, absolutely hilarious.
Look at Chauncey Billups. Look at Chauncey Billups.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to it in a second. Yeah, come on, man. We got all the news to deal with here. Let's just swing right into it. Yeah. Portland Trailblazers protesting their loss after a frustrating play there as they lose to the Oklahoma City Thunder last night, 111 to 109. He's contesting after he clearly called a timeout with 15.1 seconds left. Ended up, but what's your one reaction to Blazers?
Again, I'm gonna say one word.
Go ahead.
He said bullshit, but yeah. I'm gonna get my one word off of the sentence. Are the refs? Here's my one word: blind. How many fucking refs are out there? God, how many refs out there? TJ, three, four, and y'all don't see this man coming out into the middle of the court, calling a timeout, and everybody, and there's you got all the Twitter folks, Twitter refs, officials coming out and said, "Oh well, it was a 50-50 ball. SGA had already put his hand on the ball, so he didn't have no control of the ball." If that's the case, then why the hell you call travel?
We saw that being called as a timeout in a previous instance in this game. For me, it's irrelevant. The NBA is not going to do a damn thing about it. He can protest all he wants. It's not going to change.
And that's sad. In the David, that's the unfortunate issue. Like you have your refs fucking up, right? Like you can, it was a loose ball. It was like, no, it wasn't. He was calling the timeout way before it even got to that point. Your referees just refuse to acknowledge it. Like, which makes me wonder, like, I've seen on 2 occasions now where a coach has tried to call a timeout and the refs just said, no. Now, remember when David Blatt tried to call a timeout against the Bulls when the Cavs didn't have any, which resulted in a technical foul and the Bulls ball? Remember that? And then what happens? Oh, LeBron just hits a game winner and the series is tied 2-2 instead of them going down 3-1. This is trash. Like Adam Silver has to get all the referees, has to get them all. One rule, like, hey, it will be the shortest meeting in league history. Get all the refs in the room. 3 words: stop fucking up. Walk out. That's it.
Two impressive performances on the same night, one in a victory and one in a loss. Let's first start in Philadelphia as Joel Embiid goes for a franchise record 70 points. against the San Antonio Spurs and Victor Wembanyama, who also had a pretty solid game in that matchup as well.
Yeah, like 33.
33 and something, yeah.
I have 2 words for both. I mean, I have a word for each, if that's okay. For Joel Embiid, statement. For Joel Embiid, that statement. Like, this is a guy who, like, he's been compared to Jokic for the past 4 years now. Like that comparison's really heated up. Past 4 years with Jokic winning 2 MVPs and a chip. Now Embiid has his MVP. This was a statement of, hey, I'm like, Jokic is a great player, but I'm better. I'm the best big man in the league, so on and so forth. Right? On the Karl Anthony Towns.
So, yeah, real quick, Karl Anthony Towns went for 62 points against the Charlotte Hornets, but the Hornets able to come back and steal the game from Karl Anthony Towns in his career night. They lose that game. As there was a lot of news that, like, they were trying to get him to 100 points, and so they started playing reckless basketball, like just ridiculous stuff. Like,
yeah,
anyways.
I'm gonna borrow a word from their head coach Chris Finch. Disgraceful. Y'all worry about the wrong goddamn thing. Win the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, y'all got so caught up in Cat having this great performance that y'all quit focusing on the main objective of winning the game. And then you let a team like Charlotte, who has 10 wins, by the way, who got their 10th win against you, by the way, come in and just, like, ruin the night. Disgraceful. That's my one word.
Izzy.
For Embiid, he's unstoppable. I mean, I saw that whole game, and he just, nobody could stop him. It doesn't matter if Victor Wembanyama was on him. It doesn't matter if Zach Collins was on him. Sometimes they had Jeremy Shohan on him. He was just getting his whatever, however, and it was a thing of beauty to watch. It was amazing.
Well,
amazing basketball play.
I text my brother like, "Hey, yo," I'm like, Embiid dropped 70, and he was out there gunning. I'm all like, "Nah, he was efficient. He shot 41 times." I'm like, he shot 58%. That's efficient, bro.
That's efficient as hell. And
he did take 41 shots.
And look, hey, Victor Wembanyama had 33. But if I had to get a word to Victor Wembanyama, I would have to say it's levels. Because it's levels to this shit. It's levels to this shit, buddy. Now, he had his moments. He had his moments against Embiid. I mean, he did go after Embiid. I would say half of that 70, he dropped on Victor. Like he dropped 30, 35 on Victor. You know what I mean? And he dropped the rest of it on the Spurs. But I had texted you guys, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to give the young bull some credit. He actually stayed and guarded Embiid most of that damn game. Like, he's guarded Embiid most of that damn game, while Embiid was Embiid's like, I ain't like, bro, I've been in the league too long. I ain't guarding your young ass. You know what I mean? Like, Embiid guarded him in certain spots, but he's like, I ain't guarding your young ass, bro. Like, you know what I mean? So I think it's levels to this. Victor Wembanyama, let that pain activate you, as Vegeta says. That's all I can say.
For Embiid, I'm going to go Super Saiyan, and then for Karl Anthony Towns,
I like
childish. It's childish.
Childish.
Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, 62 points.
Oh yeah, that is definitely childish. I mean, I didn't even give a word for that, because it's just like they took him out in crunch time, bro. You have 60 and they took you out in crunch time, bro.
Yes,
like Chris Finch was like, enough is enough. Like Chris Finch is like, enough is enough. I'm tired of seeing this shit. You guys are just giving him the ball. We have open three, bro. Anthony Edwards had 9 points. Like, when, bro, come on, man.
We got 2 more. The next one has to do with a trade that finally went down earlier this week, as the Miami Heat add Scary Terry Rozier to their roster. The Hornets get Kyle Lowry and a 2027 first-round pick that I think is lottery protected and then is unprotected in 2028. Kyle Lowry expected to be bought out by the Hornets at some point and probably join some other team. What do you guys, one-word analysis of this trade as the Heat get Scary Terry?
Dangerous.
Yeah. Well, I like that one.
Dangerous.
Pat Riley. Hey,
I'm gonna go smooth because I think this is a real smooth Miami Heat pickup, and also I think it allows them to potentially trade Tyler Hero too, because
They are not trading Tyler.
Just hear me out.
We got
Hear me out for a second.
okay.
Just hear me out for a second.
Okay.
Tyler Hero and Scary Terry kind of play in the same kind of realm as basketball players. They're kind of similar players, right? Like they kind of do the same stuff. They're offensive players. They, not the best defender. But if you have an opportunity to move Tyler Hero to like shore up some of the other areas of your roster, I think this move allows them to trade Tyler Hero without having to lose everything that he gives you on the offensive end because you have Scary Terry now.
Do you think they could trade Tyler Hero for DeJounte Murray?
No.
Also,
fun fact about DeJounte Murray. So his contract is like stupid cheap for the next one more season. So like he would be so easy to move. But that's a whole other conversation.
And another interesting fact about this is that even with Kyle Lowry being bought out, he can't come on to like the top teams.
Yeah, because most of the top teams are over that apron, so they're ineligible to sign buyout players.
That's crazy.
Like the Milwaukee Bucks couldn't sign him. Neither could the Golden State Warriors or the
Denver Nuggets
or the Nuggets as well.
They're not trading Tyler Hero. Your analysis, however astute it may be, having two kinds of the same player is not necessarily a bad thing.
No, I didn't say that. I just think it frees them up if they wanted to trade him.
But I don't think they're going to. Man. I think that would be absolutely dumb, in my opinion, if they did. Because what if they traded Tyler Hero to the Lakers for,
what?
Russell? For Russell?
What? No, I don't think that.
For Russell.
I don't think the Lakers would make that trade.
You think the Lakers will make that trade?
I think they would pass on that. To the final one. Actually, this is more than just like one word, actually. So the NBA All-Star starters are going to be announced tomorrow. Boy, did that come up quick. If you had to pick your 5 starters in the East and 5 starters in the West, who you got?
Don't care.
Oh.
Oof. Okay. All right. He doesn't care. I'll go first. I got in the East, I'm going to go Giannis, Tatum, Brunson, Embiid, Halliburton. And then in the West, I'm going to go SGA, Jokic, Kevin Durant, Anthony Edwards, and Luka Doncic.
Just to go ahead, Izzy.
Who I gotta look at who's leading in all.
I can tell you. So the leading vote getters right now in both conferences, obviously front court, it's LeBron James, Jokic, Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, Kawhi. In the East, it's Giannis, Embiid, Tatum, Butler, Jaylen Brown, and then on guards, it's Kyrie Irving, James Harden, SGA, Steph Curry, Luka. And then on the other side, it's Tyrese Maxey, Mitchell, Lillard, Trae Young, Halliburton.
Just to entertain the question, is Halliburton back? Is he playing?
Halliburton's back.
He's going to miss a couple more games. He will be back by the All-Star game, though, I would assume.
All right, so give me him and Brunson.
He came back a couple of games ago, though, against Portland, I believe.
Excuse me.
After that, he reactivated the hamstring. He's going to miss 3 games. So he's going to miss the next 3 games.
Yeah. I still go with him. And Brunson. It's hard to deny what Halliburton's been doing. Give me him and Brunson in the backcourt. Giannis.
It's got to be Giannis, Embiid, and Tatum. I mean,
yeah. I was thinking I was looking at what like Julius Randle was doing for the Knicks, but it's kind of hard to put him over Tatum.
Man, I really forgot I don't even have LeBron James on my.
Shit. And then on the West,
I'll take Anthony Edwards off and replace him.
In the West it's gotta be Luka, SGA, LeBron, Jokic, and probably KD probably. I mean, when I'm looking at this top front, those are the top vote getters right there. I'm more concerned as like the newer guys coming on, I'm like happy that like Şengün's like up there like in top 5, top 6 vote getters, because man, Alperen Şengün, LP has played freaking like some of the best basketball like a big man can play this year. He's probably like when you come most
that Rocket team started out the season so strong, and they've just slipped. It's same with the Magic too, but
I could say same thing with the Magic. Like
they're just young teams trying to find their footing, but
we don't have much veteran
in the West. In the West, in the West, it's probably gonna. It's pretty much gonna be chalk. It's pretty much like Luka, SGA, and then Jokic, AD, and Bron. Probably like that's probably what it's gonna be in the West.
But yeah, thank you very much for checking us out here at Prime Sports World. On today's episode of Prime, we broke down the Adrian Griffin getting fired in Milwaukee as the Cream City Shocker. Tomorrow on the Prime, we're going to be talking about buyers and sellers as we get closer and closer to the NBA trade deadline. And we're going to be doing a GOAT Talk, which is a staple here at Prime Sports World. I'm David Huffman, Israel Vera, TJ Hopkins. Gentlemen, what do we do here at the Prime, my friends?
We bring the heat, baby. Bring the heat.
Izzy, come up with a GOAT Talk that way we can do.
I have a GOAT Talk, actually.
Oh, you want me to? I'll come up with. You want me to do a GOAT Talk tomorrow?
I got one too.
We can all do one. We can all.
You want to do two of them?
Yeah, I got one too.
I'll do one.
We'll all do one.
Oh, you know what? We should just pick a position. Let's pick a position right now. What position?
I go
shooting guard.
I go big man.
Big man, any era?
Yeah, any era. Hey, minus the 50s, like no Bill Russell, like none of them.
Big man, compare. All right, I'll cook something up.
I'm going.
Yeah, because if we all brought one, it'd be. I don't know, man. But we kind of got to know what there got to be comparable players, right?
Yeah. Two big men, two players from each. So David said two shooting, like he said shooting guards, so he has to pick two guards.
Okay, he picked two shooting guards. I'll pick what, two centers?
I'm doing big man. Or if you're doing
big man, so I go two. He'll go two shooting guards. I go two small forwards. How about that?
That works.
That's fair.
All right. But yeah, we'll be back here tomorrow. You guys all have a good night. Stay safe out there. There is some heavy fog, at least all over the Midwest right now. So if you have to go out tonight, be safe. And just go slow if you have to. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night.